On Christmas night, my sister unwrapped her gift and squealed. Hermes Birkin. Mom, you're the best. I held a free grocery bag while my mother chuckled. This suits you. Luxury isn't your style. My sister smirked. You wouldn't have anywhere to take a nice bag anyway. I said nothing, just stared at her Birkin and smiled. She had no idea what that smile meant. Olivia Payne stared out at the shimmering New York skyline from her high-rise office, glancing at her watch as the hours ticked down to her flight. In just a few hours, she would be leaving for her family home in the Chicago suburbs, a trip she had meticulously planned. Before leaving, she lifted the latest Hermes wallet from her desk and inspected it with practiced care. Every element, the flawless stitching, the supple texture of the leather, the precise placement of the logo spoke of perfection. Satisfied, she signed the certificate of authentication in her role as a senior verifier for the International Luxury Brand Authentication Association. Her signature carried worldwide recognition, a testament to her extraordinary skill in detecting the minutest inconsistencies in stitching or material. This expertise had not only earned her global acclaim, but also secured her a reliable, high income. Yet, when she returned home to the Chicago suburbs, her achievements were met with indifference. The phone buzzed with her mother's name on the screen, and with a resigned sigh, Olivia answered. "Olivia, what time is your flight?" her mother asked, her voice brimming with excitement over her daughter's sister. "Catherine is landing this afternoon, and don't forget, her new boyfriend Jeremy Winston III from Winston Jewelers is joining us too." "Yes, I remember," Olivia replied. "My flight's at 6 p.m., and I should be there by tomorrow morning. Could you possibly book an earlier flight? I'm planning a special dinner for Catherine and really want you there." "I have work commitments, but I'll get there as soon as I can," Olivia murmured. Her mother continued, boasting about Catherine's recent charity gala invitation in Washington, D.C., and her rapidly growing Instagram following, urging Olivia to follow her example. But Olivia, staring out the window, knew that what Catherine called success was simply cushioned by their parents' wealth and a contrived online persona. At 28, Catherine still hadn't secured a stable job and lived off their family's support. The conversation soon turned to holiday attire. "You're going to dress up nicely for Christmas, aren't you? Last year's outfit wasn't up to the mark," her mother chided. "Is there something wrong with my clothes?" Olivia asked quietly. "You could always step it up a notch. Catherine's friends are quite sophisticated, and we need to look our best. I'll come as I am. If that doesn't work for you, I can always book a hotel," her sister retorted. "You're always so stubborn," her mother sighed before concluding. "We'll be waiting for you tomorrow." After hanging up, Olivia sank into her chair, weariness etched on her face. Her relationship with her family had always been complicated. Growing up in a modest, middle-class home in the Chicago burbs had instilled in her a sense of practicality and simplicity, in stark contrast to her mother Eleanor and sister Catherine, who were obsessed with superficial glamour and high social standing. Olivia's plain clothes and unassuming nature were often dismissed as ordinary by her family, who barely grasped the significance of her job. To them, she merely handled antiques or curios, never realizing that she commanded a senior role at an international authentication agency with a six-figure salary, a success achieved not by chasing trends but by staying true to her principles. Just then, her colleague James Morrison approached with a warm smile and a couple of coffee cups in hand. "Congrats on the bonus for uncovering that Louis Vuitton counterfeit. Quite the feat. Is that what you'll be boasting about to your family?" he teased. "My family doesn't really get what I do," Olivia replied with a small laugh. "It's hardly something to flaunt." James raised an eyebrow. "You're one of the most respected authenticators in the business. That Milan counterfeit ring was cracked wide open thanks to you. They should be proud." "They measure success differently," Olivia countered. "For Mom and Catherine, it's all about lavish living and social clout. Money isn't my bragging point." With a playful wink, James added, "Then why not mention your salary?" Olivia shook her head. "I prefer to keep the focus on what truly matters, integrity and expertise." Gathering her suitcase, Olivia left the office, reflecting on the bonus from her recent major achievement. Despite her financial comfort, she maintained her modest lifestyle. For her, genuine luxury wasn't about ostentatious displays of wealth, but about applying her skills and living with honesty. She carefully packed a crisp white cashmere sweater and simple black trousers, garments that epitomized her understated elegance, not the flashy ensemble her family expected. While waiting for a taxi, she inhaled deeply, mentally preparing for the upcoming days in Chicago, a place where Catherine's boasting, her mother's critical eye, and their fundamental misinterpretations of her career were as predictable as clockwork. Yet, Christmas was still a time for family. Arriving at her family home, the doorbell rang and Catherine's cheerful voice beckoned from inside. The door swung open to reveal her impeccably styled sister, who greeted Olivia with a light embrace, adorned in luxurious jewelry and a designer outfit. "Look at my new Chanel bag. It's an early Christmas gift from Jeremy," Catherine announced. Olivia smiled softly, her trained eye immediately verifying the bag's authenticity. "It's exquisite," she murmured as she stepped into the living room, where Eleanor stood in an elaborate holiday dress. "Olivia, you're finally here," Eleanor said, scrutinizing her daughter's simple attire with mild disapproval. "How was your trip?" Eleanor inquired. "Fine, no issues," Olivia replied calmly, handing over a small gift package. Eleanor examined it. A modest weight reminiscent of Chicago chocolates, identical to last year's gift. In truth, it was a limited edition order from a renowned Parisian pâtisserie, its plain wrapping hiding its true worth. Eleanor's eyes then sparkled with excitement. "Catherine, why don't you fill Olivia in on the charity gala plans?" Catherine launched into an animated recount of glamorous events, rubbing elbows with celebrities and her soaring social media numbers, while Olivia listened in quiet understanding, aware of the exaggerations. Outside, snow began to fall softly, wrapping the house in a serene Christmas ambience. Despite feeling the sting of her family's skewed values, Olivia resolved to enjoy a peaceful holiday. On Christmas Eve, the Payne living room glowed warmly by the fire and numerous candles. A lavishly decorated Christmas tree, bedecked with sparkling ornaments and colorful lights, stood in the corner with an assortment of gifts piled beneath it. After dinner, the family congregated in the living room, Eleanor, champagne glass in hand and beaming with pride, and Catherine's boyfriend Jeremy Winston III seated next to her in a refined tuxedo. "Time for our gift exchange," Eleanor declared loudly. "This year is going to be extra special." Olivia sank into an armchair near the fireplace, smiling softly at the unfolding tradition. Following family custom, Eleanor rose gracefully and produced a large gift box from beneath the tree. Wrapped in opulent gold paper and tied with a striking red ribbon, she handed it to Catherine. "I thought this would be perfect for you," Eleanor said. Catherine's eyes lit up as she quickly untied the ribbon and tore open the wrapping paper to reveal a brown leather luxury bag. A Hermes Birkin. "Mom, I love it. You're the best," she exclaimed, twirling with the bag held aloft. "Everyone's going to be so jealous." Jeremy nodded in approval. Yet, Olivia's expert gaze immediately dissected the bag's flaws, the slight irregularity in the stitching, the differing leather texture, and a misaligned logo. Despite her discovery, she kept her silence. Catherine continued, "This will definitely boost my Instagram. I'll have a photo shoot with it tomorrow." Eleanor smiled contentedly. "I knew it would suit you, after all. The queen of society deserves such prestige." "How much did it cost, Mom?" Catherine inquired curiously. Eleanor waved off the question, remarking, "You really shouldn't ask about prices on Christmas gifts. I got it through an exclusive connection at an authorized store." Olivia observed quietly, knowing full well that her mother's claim was untrue. The bag was an amateurish fake by any expert's measure. Yet, unwilling to dampen the festive mood, she said nothing. Next, Eleanor presented a modest brown paper bag tied with a simple ribbon. "Olivia, this is for you," she offered hesitantly. A hush fell over the room as Olivia unwrapped her gift. Inside was a neatly folded green cloth, which when opened revealed a complimentary eco bag from a local supermarket, emblazoned with an Eco-Life logo. The room paused in awkward silence. Catherine chuckled softly while still cradling her Birkin. Eleanor shrugged. "I thought practicality might suit you better. You've always cared about the environment and convenience." Catherine chimed in with a tinge of sarcasm. "Besides, you hardly ever have occasions for luxury bags. You're always shuttling between work and home." Even Jeremy's face showed a fleeting moment of discomfort. Olivia gently caressed the eco bag's fabric with her fingers, masking the swirl of sadness and irritation inside. Here she was, a leading international expert handling million-dollar items, yet her family celebrated a counterfeit Birkin while offering her a supermarket freebie. "Thank you," she murmured. Then, glancing at Catherine's Birkin, she offered a quiet, enigmatic smile. "Why are you looking at my bag like that?" Catherine asked nervously. "Nothing," Olivia replied softly. "It's a nice bag." Catherine laughed, relieved. "Imagine the attention if I walked around with this. Everyone would be staring." Olivia placed the eco bag on her lap. In her mind, the irony was clear. While her expertise could authenticate a genuine Hermes Birkin in seconds, she was being handed an eco bag for free. "They still don't understand," she whispered to herself, bitterly amused at the twisted priorities of her family. After the holiday celebrations, Olivia returned to her New York office on the 14th floor of a gleaming glass tower, where the International Luxury Brand Authentication Association buzzed with new requests. "Welcome back," James Morrison greeted as he handed her a cup of coffee. "How was your holiday?" he asked. "Fine, as expected," Olivia replied with a grateful smile, though the tone was ambivalent. Sitting down beside her, James pressed, "Tell me everything." With a heavy sigh, Olivia confided, "My mother gave Catherine a Hermes Birkin and me a free eco bag from the local supermarket." James's eyebrow arched in disbelief. "You're not serious." "I'm not," Olivia insisted. "But the worst part is that Catherine's Birkin is a poorly executed fake." James began pacing, agitated. "Why didn't you set the record straight?" "I couldn't. Revealing the truth would only embarrass them further. They wouldn't believe me anyway," she explained quietly while sipping her coffee. "My mother insisted it was bought from an authorized store, but she was clearly duped into overpaying for a counterfeit," James fumed. Olivia simply shrugged. "Sometimes the truth is the last thing they need to hear," Olivia replied in a hushed tone, recalling that her mother and sister had always prized appearances and social standing. They believed that if they discovered they'd been sold a counterfeit, their pride would be utterly devastated. James nodded in quiet sympathy, though his eyes revealed lingering doubt. "I understand, but sooner or later the truth will emerge," he remarked. Little did he know, those very words would prove true far earlier than he expected. Just 3 weeks later, on an ordinary weekday afternoon, Olivia's office phone rang. The caller ID displayed the name Catherine, an unexpected contact from her sister. With a touch of apprehension, Olivia answered. "Catherine, what's going on?" she asked. "Olivia, you won't believe it." Catherine's excited tone burst through the line. "I've listed the Birkin for auction online, and there's already a bid of $80,000. Olivia froze in disbelief. "You're selling the Birkin?" she managed. "Yes, and I'm aiming for an even pricier bag," Catherine replied, her excitement mounting. "If I sell this Birkin, I can afford a luxurious crocodile leather version. Jeremy's mother owns one, and I've always longed for it." In that moment, Olivia recognized the grave error. Her sister was unknowingly trying to vend a fake at a steep price, a move that could lead to fraud charges since selling a counterfeit as genuine is against the law, even if done inadvertently. "Listen, Catherine, you must take down that listing immediately," Olivia said in a firm tone. "But why is it valued so high?" "I need to explain. I'm heading to Chicago right away," Catherine protested. "Don't do anything until I get there," Olivia insisted. After informing her boss about this urgent family matter, she booked a flight and headed straight for Chicago. At 8 p.m., Olivia arrived at the family home. When she opened the door, she found Catherine and their mother, Eleanor, seated in the living room, worry written all over their faces. "What happened? Why the rush?" Eleanor asked as Olivia set her suitcase down and took a deep, steadying breath. "Catherine, where's the Birkin?" Catherine inquired, pointing at a brown bag resting on the coffee table with a puzzled look. "It's right here, but something's off. It's already up to $85,000. Olivia picked up the bag and examined it closely. Her initial impression was confirmed. This was clearly a counterfeit. Always prepared for such situations, she retrieved a small magnifying glass from her pocket to inspect the stitching and hardware in greater detail. "What are you doing?" Catherine asked, her voice tinged with anxiety. Gently setting the bag aside, Olivia addressed her family. "This Birkin is fake. Mother Eleanor's face flushed with anger. What are you saying? I bought it from an authorized store and paid $440,000. Olivia's heart sank as she explained. As an authenticator, I can see that the stitching, the leather quality, and the internal stamp all reveal it's counterfeit. Eleanor shook her head vigorously. You're wrong, the store is renowned. It's on Oakland Avenue. Olivia continued calmly. Authentic Hermes items are sold only in select boutiques with limited stock. The store you visited was likely a scam operation dealing in fakes. Overcome with distress, Catherine burst into tears. But I already promised to sell it, she said in a trembling voice. I've been in touch with the bidder and even received part of the payment. Olivia delivered the harsh truth. Even if unintentional, selling a counterfeit as authentic could have legal repercussions. The room fell into a heavy silence as Eleanor sank into a chair, covering her face with her hands. What should I do? Am I going to be arrested? Catherine asked, her voice shaking. First, remove the auction immediately, Olivia instructed firmly. And if any money has already come in, it must be refunded in full. Through tear-filled eyes, Catherine pleaded. But how do I explain it? Everyone thinks I have a genuine Birkin. I even posted it on Instagram. Olivia paused, surveying the panic that had overtaken the room. Their family, so long preoccupied with outward appearances, now faced a crisis that risked exposing their deception. I'll handle it, Olivia reassured quietly. Just leave everything to me. The next morning, Olivia sat with her laptop open on the family home's living room table, deeply focused on her work. Catherine and Eleanor hovered nearby, anxiety etched on their faces. With one final keystroke, Olivia sent off an official authentication certificate. This document proves that you were a victim of fraud, she announced as she turned the screen toward her family. The certificate, complete with detailed photos, technical explanations of the counterfeit's flaws, and Olivia's signature along with an official seal from the International Luxury Brand Authentication Association, served as undeniable proof, a credential recognized by auction houses and insurers alike. Surprise and disbelief crossed their faces. You've been doing such significant work? Eleanor asked incredulously. Olivia laughed softly. Mom, I'm not merely appraising antiques. I specialize in authenticating luxury goods worth billions every year. Catherine now regarded her sister with newfound admiration. So you identified the fake Birkin just by looking at it? She queried. Yes, but now we must focus on solving your predicament. Olivia switched the screen to reveal that she had already contacted the police and initiated an investigation into the fraudulent store. I assured them that our association would cooperate fully, so this matter is being taken very seriously, she explained. What about the auction? Catherine asked, worry evident in her voice. I've already managed it, Olivia said confidently. I issued a formal notice along with my certificate stating that the auction is canceled because the item was verified as counterfeit under the platform's anti-counterfeit policy. Your seller account will not be penalized. Catherine slumped in relief, though anxiety still lingered. And the legal responsibility, she murmured. You're fine, Olivia reassured her. Since you acted promptly upon learning the truth, and I've informed the bidders individually, you won't need to apologize personally. Eleanor's eyes welled with tears as she lamented. $40,000, all wasted. Placing a supportive hand on her mother's shoulder, Olivia added, even without explicit evidence of fraud, you might be eligible for compensation if the investigation uncovers more victims from that store. It could become a major case. Meanwhile, Catherine's thoughts turned to her social media. But what about my Instagram followers? They're all waiting for my Birkin post, she fretted. Olivia frowned briefly before replying, it's not about garnering likes. True worth isn't measured by appearances or brand names. It's about who you are and what you achieve. What if your friends discover it's fake? Catherine's eyes filled with fear as she whispered. What would they say? Olivia responded softly. Being authentic is far more valuable than offering a false image. I don't work for social media validation. I dedicate my life to distinguishing genuine products from fakes and protecting people from fraud. Her sincere words seemed to kindle a change in Catherine, who set her phone aside and nodded silently. Meanwhile, Eleanor sat quietly at the kitchen table for a long moment. I was mistaken all along, she murmured. Olivia and Catherine turned their attention to their mother. I was so fixated on appearances and status that I lost sight of what really matters, Eleanor admitted. You have remarkable talent and insight. I just never recognized it. Sitting beside her mother, Olivia gently grasped her hand. It's enough that you now understand, she said softly. Mom, would you tell me more about your work? Eleanor asked earnestly. For the first time in years, the family's curiosity about Olivia's career was evident. Smiling warmly, Olivia began to explain her role at the International Authentication Agency, describing how her work safeguarded billions in luxury goods annually. Catherine listened, astonished. You earn that much, yet you dress simply and live modestly, she remarked. That's my choice, Olivia replied. Luxury for me is about living true to my values, not about displaying opulence. At that moment, Catherine regarded her sister with genuine respect. I was wrong. I never appreciated how extraordinary you are. Tearfully, Eleanor also apologized. I couldn't see your true worth, she admitted. That Aita bag turned out to be a terrible gift, didn't it? Olivia smiled gently. Actually, that Aita bag may be the best gift I've ever received, because it gave us the chance to redefine our family's values. A year later at Christmas, the Payne family's living room glowed with warmth, reminiscent of previous years yet distinctly transformed. Olivia stood before the fireplace, sipping hot chocolate while gazing out at the snowy landscape. The previous year's scandal over the fake Birkin had set in motion changes beyond anyone's expectations. With her cooperation, the police had dismantled a vast counterfeit luxury network based in Chicago, with Eleanor's testimony proving critical in convicting the fraudsters. Turning around, Olivia noticed Catherine, now dressed in a simple yet elegant outfit, a far cry from her formerly flashy attire. Everything is ready, Catherine announced, and everyone's eager for the gift exchange. Over the past year, Catherine had grown significantly under Olivia's guidance. She had secured an internship at a high-end fashion brand, immersing herself in the world of design and craftsmanship. Meanwhile, Eleanor, after receiving compensation from the scam, had chosen to donate half of it to support women entrepreneurs. Now it's time for our gift exchange, Eleanor said softly. Gone were the days of ostentatious displays. This year every present was chosen with genuine care. Catherine presented Olivia with a handcrafted sketchbook, bound with the design techniques she'd learned during her internship, perfect for capturing visions on future travels. Eleanor offered Olivia a framed digital restoration of old family photographs, calling it Our True Treasure. Finally, Olivia gave her mother and sister matching, understated tote bags made of high-quality material, each embroidered inside with the words "True value lies in what cannot be seen." This is the limited edition OB bag I helped design, Catherine observed as she examined it carefully. Olivia smiled, explaining, it seamlessly blends sustainability and practicality. True value isn't found in appearances. It's in functionality and thoughtfulness. Eleanor embraced her daughter, deeply moved. I still have so much to learn from you, she whispered, remembering how the Aita bag from last year had become a symbol of their family's transformation. Thanks to the fake Birkin, we discovered our true bond, Eleanor said with a gentle smile. Leaning close to her sister, Catherine murmured, now I understand the meaning behind that mysterious smile you wore when you first saw the fake Birkin last Christmas. It wasn't scorn or irony. It was a quiet certainty that change was coming. Olivia replied softly, true luxury isn't about what you own. It's the richness of your heart. Outside, as the snow continued to fall in silent grace, the world appeared to start anew. The three women of the Payne family had freed themselves from materialistic values, forging a genuine bond. A transformation that began with a simple Aita bag. In the weeks that followed, the Payne family began to embrace a newfound closeness. Their gatherings, once marked by an obsession with status, transformed into sincere celebrations of art, wisdom, and togetherness. Regular conversations replaced superficial chatter, and every shared meal turned into a moment to reflect on what truly mattered. Olivia, while continuing her meticulous work in authentication, also took time to educate others on the importance of discerning quality from mere appearance. She began hosting small community seminars, where she explained how authenticity isn't about the price tag, but the story and integrity behind every piece. Her efforts soon inspired others to seek truth over trends. Catherine, shedding the weight of external validation, started using her social media platform to champion authenticity and meaningful connections. Her posts shifted from showcasing lavish lifestyles to highlighting the beauty of everyday honesty and genuine craftsmanship. Slowly, her followers began to appreciate a more heartfelt, unfiltered side of luxury. Eleanor, transformed by her own painful lesson, became an advocate for consumer rights. She joined local support groups, lending her voice to others who had fallen prey to fraud. In doing so, she discovered that her experience could pave the way for change and protection for many. As autumn turned to winter and the seasons gracefully shifted, the Payne family established a new tradition. Every year during their holiday celebrations, they gathered not to exchange ostentatious gifts, but to share stories of personal growth, resilience, and the importance of living by one's values. The memory of the fake Birkin, once a source of despair, had become a turning point, a reminder that the richest treasures are found in the bonds of love, honesty, and shared purpose. In the end, the Payne family learned that true luxury lies not in what is seen, but in the quiet strength of one's character and the authenticity of one's relationships. Their journey from scandal to self-discovery became a beacon for others, a lasting testament that real wealth is measured by the depth of the heart, rather than the glitter of material things.